All right, guys, so I'm going to share with you some of the resources that I have to use alongside the Chef's Fun Schooling Journal and the Baker's Fun Schooling Journal. While I have them semi-separated, I will have some overlap because some of the cooking books I have also have the baking recipes in them. So we will be kind of cross-referencing for them, but I've kind of broken them up by the ones that are specifically for baking and then all the others, just to keep it simple. So without further ado, let's start with the Baker's Fun Schooling Journal resources that I have. So we have the complete baking book for young chefs, 100 plus sweet and savory recipes that you'll love to bake, share, and eat. Inside, there's Ready, Set, Bake. Chapter 1, Muffins, Quick Breads, and Other Breakfast Treats. Chapter 2 is Yeast Breads. Chapter 3 is Pizza, Flatbread, and Other Savory Baked Goods. Chapter 4 is Cookies and Bars. Chapter 5 is Cakes and Cupcakes. Chapter 6, Fruits, Desserts, Pies, and Tarts, and then Conversations and Equivalents. And then some recipe stats. So here is a peek at the inside. Secrets to Success. Decoding baking, speak, what's up with the ingredients, how to weigh and measure. So it's got a lot of good introductions. Microwave 101, how to measure ice, prep steps, how to crack and separate eggs. And then we get into chapter 1, Muffins, Quick Breads, and Other Breakfast Treats. And so at each subsection, there are other contents for reference to find recipes quicker. And it shows you your ingredients to prepare, your baking equipment that you need, the total time, how many it serves. Here you get to start the recipe. And then down here it has a little bit of additional information. Another example, simple cream scones. This one even has pictures of how to do it, so that's pretty cool. Quite a variety of things in here. And this is a decent sized book. Go down to page 220. I don't know if you saw at the back, there's recipe stats and there was a conversion chart too. Somewhere in here, I saw it. Unless I'm crazy. There we go, see, conversions and equivalents. So lots of good reference. I really like this book. I think it's going to be very beneficial for this unit. And then I also have the Kids Chef Bakes, the kids cookbook for aspiring bakers. Welcome to Baking School, Part 1, in the Baker's Kitchen. I'm not sure, I'm gonna flip back and see it. I don't know if I skipped the, oh, there we go. There's the table of contents. So welcome to Baking School, recipes, muffins, breads, cupcakes, cakes, cookies and bars, pies, tarts, pastries, and savory baked goods. Talks about using the stove, knife safety, using the oven, baking skills, granola bars, meringue clouds, yes please. Creaming butter and sugar, making dough. So I like that a lot of these are going into like, it's like a legit lesson and you're still making something with that lesson. So that's kind of cool. Then we get back into the actual like recipes. And the recipes have all the prep time and cook time, the tools and equipment, and the ingredients you need, as well as the instructions and beautiful pictures for reference. And then try instead, it gives you alternate, and it looks like they have that on most of them. Some ways that you can vary your recipe and some troubleshooting tips if things don't go as planned. helpful hints, pro tips. So I think between these two books, we may not even need to dip into the actual cookbooks for recipes because there's quite a variety in there. Now I got this too. This I found on Book Outlet. I don't know that I would have just bought it to buy it. However, I happen to know that for one, there is a challenge in one of these where you have to do a substitution for ingredients, so I thought this would be a good reference. And for two, we have a lot of food allergies, and so something like this is just really beneficial. Not to mention it's a pain if you're going to cook something and you don't have what you need on hand. This is a nice tool to help you figure out what you can use instead. And it is literally an alphabetical list of everything that you might need. So for example, if something calls for almond milk, the liquid strained from ground blanched almonds, it tells you what it is. So it's got a description. And it says if you don't have it, you can substitute 1 cup of almond milk with 1 cup of rice milk or sweetened soy milk. So it gives you alternatives literally for everything you could possibly think of alphabetically. So I thought this was just a pretty fabulous reference book for numerous reasons. Something good just to have on hand. My daughter has been interested in cooking and baking for quite some time, so I don't anticipate this not getting some use over the years. She's only 10, so we've got a lot of time ahead of us. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the resources that I have. That's a big stack, I know, for our chef books. So I thought this one would be interesting, even for like a biography or research project. An Extraordinary Life in Words and Pictures of Julia Child. So in here, oops, sorry, that's really loud. No Small Share of Trouble, An Adolescent Nut, Too Tall for Navy. So none of these actually tell you really what they're going to be about, but let's dig in and check it out. There's nice pictures. I'm going to flip to the center so that I can cook, write, move, repeat. So this is literally like a written kind of like a chapter book with occasional pictures. If I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to go back and look, but I think it's meant to be more of a biography. This delicious illustrated biography is a portrait of the remarkable woman, author, and TV personality who captured our hearts. So I thought it would be fun to read this, do a biography on her of some sort, a paper, maybe even watch the movie. But anyway, so that was just to go a little bit deeper into the cooking aspect. This one is just like the baking book, but this one is Kid Chef. So it's all the chef recipes. And so the layout is quite similar. You've got your cooking class in the front half and then your recipes in the back half. Equipment, stocking your shelves. Measuring skills, knife skills. So some of this is going to be repetitive from the baking one, but we have sauteing and pan frying, cooking with frozen ingredients, and then it goes into all the delicious recipes. I have not had lunch and I'm starting to get really hungry. Maybe I should have done this after I ate lunch. I kind of want my kid to come down here and cook me some food now. Okay. The next book is this Superfoods for Super Kids cookbook. So this one is all recipes using superfoods. This is a beautiful book, The Forest Feast for Kids. My daughter and I already spent some time kind of exploring this one. It's broken down by type of food. And it is as pretty to look at as the food is going to be to eat. They're very simple recipes. There's nothing complicated about them, but they are just fun and unique and fancy, but yet super simple. So I really like this book a lot. Eat your greens, reds, yellows, and purples. This is a DK cookbook, and it's all vegetarian recipes. Not that we are vegetarian, but we eat a lot of raw and natural foods, so I thought this would be a good addition, even if we used it as a side dish or something. It's a good way to incorporate a lot of veggies into our foods, which I'm always a fan of. Eaten in color. So that's kind of a fun theme. And sticking with the vegetarian foods, we've got this guy here. As you can see, most of these books have some form of, oh, look at this one's really good. It's broken. It breaks up the types of categories of food. And a lot of them introduce the different tools that you can use in the kitchen. So we are doing world studies as well. So we've got a lot of international books. So we've got this one. It's called The Cultured Chef. And this one has the foods broken up by continent. So we're going to be incorporating some of her recipes that she's making in her books with our world studies. So this is going to be a crossover for that. And again, kind of like the Forest Feast, it's just as beautiful to look through as it's going to be to eat. And we have these international cookbooks for kids, 1 and 2. I'll flip through just one so you can kind of see the layout. It is broken up by, is it broken up? No, appetizers, pastas, vegetables, main dishes. So this one is not broken up by country or continent. It does show you up in the corner. So we've got 2 books of those goodies. This one is just like the baking one that I showed you at the very beginning, the complete cookbook for young chefs. These are just like jam-packed with good recipes and good information, in my opinion. I love that it's like ways to make it your own, and it throws in like little tidbits of information and ways to troubleshoot things and ways to change up the ingredients, some science. It includes some science on why things work the way they do. Got a couple more international food books here. So here we go. This one is broken up by continent again. This guy here. So this one's broken up by, looks like appetizer, grains, main dish, and sweet tooth. So this one's illustrated as opposed to having photographs, but it also gives you a little bit of history and culture. So this will be a fun one. It'll be educational and still a lot of fun to get in the kitchen and do. Then I have a complete book of knife skills. So, oops. Here's our contents. Everything you need to know about knives. Getting started, basic vegetable cuts, fruits and vegetables, poultry, meat, fish, shellfish, cooked meats, and garnishes. So it will take you through the different types of blades and knives so you know what the different tools are used for and what they can cut. how to sharpen them, how to cut properly so you don't get your fingers, and then it goes into the different techniques of cutting different types of foods. Get into this. These pages are stuck together. Okay. Basic vegetable cuts: sticks, dice, chiffonade, rondelles, the oblique cut, the paysanne, lozenge, and tournée. So I like how it literally shows where the fingers go, how to hold it. I thought this was pretty cool. I found this on Book Outlet, by the way. If you want to see if they still have more, it was not that expensive. And I think it's going to be a good addition to our education in the kitchen. The Food Substitutions Bible was also a Book Outlet purchase, as was this, 12,167 Kitchen and Cooking Secrets. So it goes through shopping and storing, pantry basics, refrigerator basics, the produce department, meat and seafood, liquid assets, cooking techniques, classic dishes, baked goods and sweets, entertaining, safety and hygiene, and advice to ignore. Then we go into the tools, and it actually gives you a sub-contents. So 3 ways to clean a cast iron pan, 6 steps to seasoning a cast iron pan. Talks about choppers, cutting boards, chopsticks. And I'm not actually even sure how technically it's organized. I think this is like the cookware section. Sorry, I'm trying to get a grip on this guy. It's a huge book. 4 ways to freeze eggs. I mean, it's kind of just random stuff. So I don't know if I will use it from an index perspective or if I'll let her just kind of explore it. I'm undecided, but I thought it had a lot of good information in it. So I'll have to ponder how I want to incorporate it or make it usable, because unless you're looking for something specific, this is going to be overwhelming, because I don't know if you can see, like, look at how thick this is. This book is no joke. And then the last, oh no, not the last one. I've got this guy, the Haven's Kitchen Cooking School. Also a Book Outlet find. All right, so we've got our introduction and how to use this book. I didn't see I keep skipping over the table of contents if there is one. There we go. Okay, so in here we have grains and beans, a lesson in cooking with purpose, fritters, vegetables, soups, eggs, salads, fish, fowl, and meat, sauces, and desserts. Skip forward a little bit. So how to cook grains. It actually goes in and educates you on how to do this. Teaching recipe. So after it tells you what you need to do, then it gives you a teaching recipe to actively use those techniques that you've learned. 1 bowl meals, frittering, bayonets, soups, eggs. Goes through all the different types of eggs, how to make them. So I like that it teaches you a technique and then it gives you a recipe to try it out. So that'll be fun. And finally, this really is the last book. In one of them, it sends them on a research project to figure out the history of a type of food. And so I already was getting this because we're doing ancient history, and so a lot of the foods that we have these days, are all tied back to ancient history in some form. However, she can use this for that. So I pulled it out and I put it with the stuff. It's got the history on papyrus, but it also has pepper, tea, sugarcane, cotton, cacao, cinchona, I don't know what that is, rubber, potato, corn. I'm gonna have to research that. I'll go back and read that later. But it takes you through the history, the story of where this particular item came from. So she can use that for her research project for the history of a food. So those are all of our resources. She should have plenty to keep her busy for the year. A lot of times I get a lot of things from the library, but I just am hesitant to rely on it at this moment. They're open for now, but who knows, 2 or 3 months from now, and I just didn't want to be stuck. So I've been scouring Book Outlet for about 6 months and collecting things that I needed so that I would have them on hand. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you found this helpful. Take care. Bye.